What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the Dirty Bird Fly Through. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share out. And man, the topic of tonight's stream is how much would you pay Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Drake London? So we're gonna get this started. This is a discussion, man. So we're gonna talk all about it tonight. But make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share out, all the good stuff, man. Big on sharing it out, and the Venmo's up there too if y'all wanna show any support to the channel. But as we know, the Atlanta Falcons have some big financial decisions to make coming up in the near future this off season. Obviously, with a new GM and Ian Cunningham, and some guys that you got to focus on re-signing. But the Falcons also have several of their young offensive players that are due for contract extensions, and one of those guys that I think you can expect to get an extension going into the final year of his deal, playing on the fifth-year option this year, is Drake London. Drake London was drafted by the Falcons in 2022, and he has since become the top wide receiver for Atlanta. Being really the only consistent wide receiver in the receiver room ever since he arrived here. He had his career year in 2024 where he had over 1,200 yards and I believe 9 touchdowns. Um, but this past season he did not have a 1,000 yard season only because he ended up suffering an injury. But without that injury, he would have almost certainly have been a 1,000 yard receiver again this season, finishing with 919 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. He has become one of the top offensive weapons in Atlanta and a part of the Falcons' young core. And it is absolutely anticipated that he will get a big contract extension this offseason. Now, there is I would say right now a quiet debate, but I also think a very much what you can call, a um there is very much a wondering question, which is how much should Drake London get extended? Now, there's a couple of things that you have to keep into consideration when talking about a contract extension for Drake London. Number one, obviously, is the value that he presents to the Atlanta Falcons and what he obviously has contributed, but what he could contribute in the future to the Atlanta Falcons, as well as where the market for wide receivers is going. We're seeing wide receivers now like Jamar Chase getting paid $40 million a year. We're seeing really the baseline for top wide receiver money sitting around 30 million, really on the low end now. But there's a debate on if Drake London is a top wide receiver or not. Um, and that's where now I'm going to open it up to the panel.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? What do you think? How much do you think Drake London, man, how much would you pay Drake London in his new contract?
Uh, I'll keep him under 25.
Okay. Oh, okay. Why do you say under 25?
Well, I've been on this train of the $30 million projected wide receiver contracts, and my problem. with Drake. Stat wise, okay, he's decent. He's had some real competitive seasons stat wise. But my only thing with him is that he's not the typical prototype top tier receiver in my book, in my opinion.
Hold, hold,
And what that is the not taking the top off of a defense
okay,
is in his career.
hold on a minute now. Okay. So you're talking about, not a prototypical wide receiver in terms of taking the top off of a defense, but I want to talk about something as well. You do know that you have wide receivers on your team meant to play different roles. Not every wide
Right.
receiver is meant to be a take the top off the defense guy, but more so that guy that you can go to and you can rely on to make to make those big intermediate catches over the middle of the field or on the sideline on third down. Drake London has been that and has gotten better at doing that over the course of his career here. When you take a look at some of the guys, this is how it ranks for wide receiver averages per year in the NFL. Jamar Chase is the top paid wide receiver. Justin Jefferson is number two. Jamar Chase is getting paid $40 million. Jamar Chase is getting paid $35 million. CeeDee Lamb is getting paid $34 million. DK Metcalf is getting paid $33 million. Garrett Wilson and AJ Brown are both in that $32 million range. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think, draws some comparisons to the game of Drake London, is at that $30 million mark. Then you have Tyreek Hill and Brandon Ayuk, as well as Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins, all getting paid anywhere from $28 to $30 million. I mean, you got Tyreek Hill making $30 million, same with Brandon Ayuk, and those guys have been absolute busts for their teams. Tyreek Hill is injured, and Brandon Ayuk, I don't even know if Brandon Ayuk has played for San Francisco under that new contract. So, when you take a look at, where Drake London really ranks, in terms of just what he's going to ask for at the end of the day, you take a look at who's getting paid $25 million right now. I mean, you're talking about guys like Devontae Smith, guys like Jamison Williams and DJ Moore around that range. Like, I can tell you this. You say you want to keep Drake under 25 million, and that's fine. These are the guys under 25 million. Nico Collins, Michael Pittman Jr., Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, just to name a few. Drake London, I would say, is a level up over those guys. He is absolutely, I think, you can make an argument, a level up over Devontae Smith and over Jamison Williams. He's a level up over DJ Moore. And even, a guy like Jalen Waddle. T. Higgins is a number two wide receiver getting paid $28.7 million. At the end of the day, I mean, you're taking a look at it. Garrett Wilson, who is from the same wide receiver class as Drake London, is getting paid $32.5 million a year. Drake London at this point, it's gonna be around $30 million what he gets paid. I'm sorry to tell y'all, but that's just the reality.
So what you're saying is now all of those numbers you read off, those are current contracts,
Oh
right?
yeah, current contract.
Just to make sure that okay. So essentially he can get that anywhere, 30 million,
Yeah,
because of the numbers that you just read off.
yeah.
Sound like okay. Um he's no Chase, but
He ain't not. I mean, listen, we're not talk. We're not. He's not Jamar Chase, and he's not Justin Jefferson, and I mean, he's not CeeDee Lamb. But I mean, then you look at DK Metcalf and what he's getting paid, and I mean, I could absolutely argue that Drake London's on the same level of a DK Metcalf right now, and DK Metcalf's getting paid 33.
Well, I don't think he's on the same level as Metcalf.
You don't
That's
think
just
so?
me. No,
Why don't you think so?
because Metcalf can do it all when called on. Yeah, yeah. Drake is making these he's a 50-50 man. He can be dependent on making the mid range um catches, but the only thing that is in his favor is the gap of the top paid wide receivers in the league at this point, based off of the numbers you just gave me. I think for his agent. He could argue the 30 million,
And also at
and
the
if you don't,
and
go ahead.
also at the same time, okay, you got to take a look at Garrett Wilson, who I mean is in the same draft class as Drake London. He's getting paid $32.5 million. Now, I mean, you take a look at Garrett Wilson, and really, I mean, what he has almost. I mean, I want to take a look at Garrett Wilson's numbers. I mean, you're talking about someone who, sure, has, had higher numbers than Drake, but at the same time, when you look at the volume of how good Drake London can be when he goes off and how consistent Drake London showed he was before he got injured, especially last year, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, when you're getting a wide receiver, you got to think about this, okay? You had Drake London before he went out with injury have 3 straight games of over 100 yards. Just chunk plays from a wide receiver, dependent as they come. You take a look at where the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver room is right now. Now one thing you have to consider is this: you are not just thinking about how much are you paying Drake London. You're thinking about, okay, this offseason, how much are we going to give Kyle Pitts if we bring him back? Caden Ellis potentially. Divine Diablo. You got to worry about that extension. You also got to worry about Bijan Robinson coming up in a couple years. And I can guarantee you that is a conversation that is going to be a very expensive one. Let's just put it that way. So with Drake, it's, when we take a look at the 30 million, it might be a 30 million on average, but it's really going to come down to how the contract is structured. Now, where I think, I take a look at it, while Drake London probably is going to dream of being able to match Garrett Wilson, I will say in defense of your argument, I just don't know because, I mean, then that would also mean he's superseding A.J. Brown. And I just don't know if you can really say that London has done that quite yet. I feel like they have two similar play styles to each other, but I just don't know if Drake has quite jumped A.J. Brown yet. But when you're taking a look at this, range of Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk, Drake London's absolutely going to, I think anywhere from 30 to 31 million is what Drake London's going to end up being paid. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, like I said, with the high gap in the top guys, even though his stats are a lot different. I don't even think that Drake London has a 20-yard touchdown pass that he's caught in his career. Um, like I said, my only thing is, okay, you're blocking and you're doing the gritty stuff that a lot of the number twos are doing. You're the 50-50 guy, but when we need that big play to close the game out, and it's just not that. It's just something that I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
I
that
do.
would be my argument from the standpoint of negotiating as a business, and getting a friendly contract. But as far as him being a number one on the Falcons team, and just producing for the Falcons, yeah, he probably going to be able to get that 30 million. But if Chase is making 40, oh my goodness,
But see,
that's a lot.
this is something that you have to realize, okay? Where the NFL is going right now, it's something called, there isn't a term for it, but it's essentially just like how in this country, how it's supposed to work generally when the wages go up, the prices go up, and vice versa. In the NFL, when you see a situation with the salary cap going up every year, guess what also goes up with that? The contracts, how much these players want and how much they're going to end up being paid. They correlate with one another. And they're all trying to beat out their teammates. Now, I was kind of coming in before that and taking a look at that list also kind of, really, it made me put into perspective where do I rank Drake London. Right now, if you were to ask me, I feel like 31 million is about that meeting point that we can make that we can go, okay, this is what I think, you're worth. I feel like anything under 30, or anything under 29 especially, it would be a sweetheart deal for the Falcons. It would. But right now, if you were to ask me, Drake London is going to get a 4-year, $124 million contract extension, which averages out to $31 million a year. All things considered. I know you, listen, 4 year, and by the way, I just want to correct you. Yeah, Drake London has had some touchdowns. It hasn't been many, but he has had some touchdowns over 20 yards. Michael Penix has thrown him some deep balls that he has caught and taken from, I think, about 25, 30 yards out. He also, I want to say, he has caught deep balls. Maybe it's not a traditional sense of taking the top off the defense, but, he's been able to win those contested catches, make those 50-50 catches. He's been able to keep drives going. Drake London has been able to be that surefire guy the Falcons can count on when he is out there. He's always going to be a tough out. All this considered, that's why I say 4 years, $124 million. That's what I expect Drake London to get in his next contract.
And he's not going to even be nowhere near to raising the bar as far as setting the new market for the
No.
wide receivers with that contract.
No.
Wow. Okay, so let's see. Okay, another argument that I have is that when that happens, because he's not a deep threat as far as scoring wise, that kind of changes how defenses will play us if we don't have that guy that's going to go over the top, be able to take the top off.
Well, you're right. And, let's be very clear. The Falcons do have a guy that we saw last year can, make the house call, but it's Bijan. We don't have that guy in the receiving game that can take the top off the defense. I think, and we were expecting that to be Darnell Mooney. Hell, I think maybe some of us thought Ray McLeod had that ability to do it as well. But, with Ray McLeod obviously no longer being here and Mooney it looking like his future in Atlanta is, looking pretty bleak. That all goes into, man, you got to keep Drake around. Because this wide receiver room after Drake London, there is a lot of uncertainty. A
That
lot
is
of
true.
uncertainty. So, you have to keep that into consideration. Another thing that you have to consider is you talk about, well, Drake London hasn't had any touchdowns, from deep out. Most of his touchdowns have came in the red zone. But you know what the Atlanta Falcons have struggled with for a really since the 2016 season up until pretty recently? Red zone efficiency, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And you're telling me that
Right.
you finally have a red zone machine in Drake? Something we all thought Kyle Pitts was going to come in here and be? and you finally got a red zone machine in Drake that can score those touchdowns for you, you don't let that go. You got to value that. Listen, it might not be the flashiness, it might not be the big playability like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, but shit, it's getting the job done.
Well, for that type of player, even we do what we got to do to retain him. Then you know, not getting off topic, but then we're gonna have to go pick up some pieces to complement his style of play.
Oh yeah, yeah. Look, it's and see that's a thing where the Falcons need that guy. They still we every team, no matter what the situation is, you need a guy that could take the top off. And you could probably find that for relatively cheap too. At the same time, you can find that for relatively cheap. Because especially when you look at the Michael Penix and his arm talent and what his game is really known for, which is his deep ball, then you need a guy that can take the top off the defense. But you also need a guy that Michael Penix has chemistry with and that Michael Penix can trust to make those plays. And that guy clearly is Drake London.
Now, how friendly is that going to be for the team if he gets to 30? The 120. How
Well,
how friendly is that going to be for the team?
if you take a look at it, how friendly would it be for the team? Still, it all depends on how the contract is structured. How friendly it is for the team at that point. Obviously, we could be talking about, maybe okay, getting Drake at a sweetheart deal for 26 million, for instance. But at the same time, you know, you got where you say you have Drake under 25. I'm sorry that's just devaluing what Drake London is for the Atlanta Falcons. I would love to be able to keep him under that, but personally, but also I want to give Drake what he deserves. And what Drake London deserves is a payday for what he has done. You got to realize something also. The Atlanta Falcons haven't done themselves any favors screwing around the past couple of seasons when they weren't paying Drake London anything, when they weren't paying Bijan Robinson anything, and they've been barely missing out on the playoffs. Almost ain't enough. They ain't been able to get there. And now you're going to have to pay these guys and figure out, well, okay, how are we going to get those other positions on our team? But Drake London has stayed consistent through it. So, at the end of the day, it at this point, because the Falcons haven't had success, this is just some real talk. Team friendly for the Falcons almost kind of goes out the window in large part.
Well, if I'm a owner, well, not an owner. If I'm Beatles, I'm gonna look at his injuries. How many games he's played, and I'm gonna negotiate with him on that. And I might try to 25, but I'm kind of getting away from it. With if you was his agent, you definitely would be making a case for him. Um, but I would also be willing to put some incentives in there, you know, to kind of boost that up. But I'm still saying 30 million for that type of wide receiver. We would definitely have to get on the same page on that.
Okay, here
But
here
that's just my view. That's just my view of a big time wide receiver. Not saying that he's not a big time wide receiver, but I'm saying when you start you know looking across the league and seeing what these other guys are getting paid, you still got to look at you know what the Falcons do with that. This is like how they dealt with Julio Jones, and he's nowhere near a Julio Jones as far as just setting the bar, or even setting the bar for the Falcons as far as what they're paying, you know, these skilled positions.
Well, the thing with Julio is number one. We can both agree that while Drake London is a great wide receiver, he is nowhere near the level. I mean, Julio Jones was the best wide receiver in the league. Julio Jones is a future Hall of Famer. Drake London might be, heading on that trajectory if he can, stay a course. But he's obviously not Julio, okay? So we agree there, but you got to remember a lot's changed in the NFL over the past 7 seasons. A lot has changed.
Yes, it has.
So you also got to keep that in mind, man. If the wages were where they were back then, we would be paying Julio at least 35 million. And by the way, I apologize for the cough. I'm still recovering from the flu that I caught late last week. But like I say, you got to keep that in mind. We'd be paying Julio at least 35 million.
That's all we would be paying him, or you think
35
he would demand more?
35 million a
Eh,
year.
But I thought you said Chase was getting 40.
Well, I'm saying at least 35 million. At least.
Oh yeah, of course. Right. Okay. You need to have you some water with you, brother, because I know that throat burning up.
Oh yeah. Hey, Georgia, Texas boy.
The
What's going
scholar.
on? What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah,
Hey man,
yeah.
you hear me undercutting Drake London, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea.
Man, what do you think, Georgia, Texas boy?
I say we should give Drake a 5 year extension, 135 million. That'll put it at 27 million a year, and
Mm,
you include his his 5th year option, so the contract don't go into effect until next season. So that means that we lock up Drake for the next six.
honestly, I think that'd be a good deal for us if we get him for only 27. It's like I say, I think we're gonna end up having to pay him over 30.
I don't think so. Because like how Tommy Reese was describing the team. The team, they love to play for each other and with each other. So I feel like they'll all take a slight discount to keep the core together. Drake, Bijan, Pitt,
Hey,
Penix,
listen, you
the
you you
O
say
line.
you say that, but at the end of the day, man, you say that, but you don't know, man. At the end of the day, it might be all good playing with these other players and stuff. They got to think about their family. And I wish Wolf were able to come up here right now. He's not going to be able to. He just texted me. But man, I wish that Wolf could come up here and explain it because I think he'd do a good job explaining the situation of what these players, the pressure that was on them, like we were talking about on the last show when we were talking about the James Pierce shit. The pressure that is on these players to produce, and that is to set up generational wealth and put their families in the best position they can be in.
But they're going to get that regardless. No matter what
Oh, okay,
teams pay
okay.
them, they're going to
That,
get their payday regardless. My whole thing about what I said was it's like these guys know for the last 2 years this has fallen short. They all had that goal. They all were thinking ahead. Playoff, playoff, playoff. Now this year coming in with this new staff and everything, nobody is thinking ahead. everybody is thinking about putting in the work, working together, and working for the man next to you to get the job done. Like, because I really feel like if this was a, a selfish team, we would hear about it the same way we hear about the George Pickens and stuff like that. If there was any type of divide going amongst the team, I think we will hear about it. But since we haven't heard about it with our young core, I think we got a chance to really retain who we want to retain.
But okay, and I hear everything. I hear everything you're saying. But again, I'm gonna go back to it. It might be all good when you're talking about it, okay? But still, when you're looking at it, and when you're looking at, see, these guys are looking at it by position. Where are their peers being paid at? And then they're gonna look at it and say, well, if he's being paid 30 million, I should be getting paid at least that much. What Drake London's going to look at now, there might be some things that keep Drake from getting the 30 million, but what I also think you have to realize is that at the same time, while working together has, it might, the Falcons might have one of the better locker room cultures in the NFL. At the same time, what has that really resulted in other than 8-win seasons over the past couple years? You've been middle of the pack, and I'm gonna be honest. If I'm not getting my worst out of it, as far as results, being able to go to the playoffs, you're at least gonna pay me. You're gonna pay me to stay here and play, for this team. Because I mean, I gotta, of course I want us to get better, and I think we can get better. But at the same time, I gotta take a look at it from the point of we haven't yet. And, if I just got to think about it. I'm looking at everything we've done so far, and we haven't been able to get there yet. So at least pay me. So I know that if I'm not going to win anything, because it's not guaranteed, then at least I made the most for my family to be set.
Well, I hate to tell you this, bro. I hear what you're saying about that, but the team that
Because
he's playing for,
because
they ain't the team to make those type of. They're
like
not going to understand that type of negotiation. That, you know what I'm saying? Part of it's got to do with the team that he's on too.
and
If you
and
if you
that and
understand what I'm
and
saying,
also that's I understand what you're saying. I know how the Falcons operate, and that's where the Atlanta
right?
Falcons have to really look at themselves and say, are we in the position to let go of these? Let's be honest. Drake London is one of our stars right now. Some might call him a superstar for us right now. Drake London's one of our stars right now. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
are we really in a
I'll
position
agree with that.
to undermine one of our stars and say, nah, you're a part of the team when I've been one of the main guys on this team producing?
Yeah.
And
That's why I feel
what have
like
I what have
in,
what has this team been rewarded with? What have I been rewarded with my effort? So, maybe what Georgia Texas boys said, 27 million, I think that's the very low end of what Drake London would take. I think if Drake London would be willing to take that, I think the Falcons got a good deal. But I'm just telling y'all, it's going to be at least 30 million or a little bit over that.
nah,
What other team gonna offer him 30 million, man?
Man, hey, you don't think the Tennessee Titans would to go and be the top weapon for
no,
Cam Ward?
no. I
No.
think the market will still be 27, 28 million. The only reason Jamar Chase got 30 million is because Joe Burrow, they wanted to keep the core together and they went to the Super Bowl. That's it. That's the only reason Jamar Chase got over 30 million.
But
And
okay,
Joe
what?
Chase is one of them talents you will not let go.
Nah, you just don't. But also,
Because
Right.
their core is already set. That's just like us with Drake. If we can lock Drake in now, while he is under his 5th year option, we ain't got to worry about no other team. That's the luxury of having him under a 5th year option. We can get the deal done in house before he go anywhere, and then he already gonna look into the fact. Yes, we do got to sign KP, who gonna take another type of deal. We do got to sign Bijan next year, who gonna take the same type of deal. We do got to sign Matthew Bergeron. We do got to extend Diablo, and I think the way that these guys carry themselves and the way they all lean on each other, we can keep our core together. Like right now, the majority of the core pieces on defense, they're under rookie contracts, so we ain't got to worry about them. We can focus on the core offensive pieces. Then by the time it's time to focus on the defensive pieces, the offense is already set.
Don't don't get me wrong. I hope you're right. I like the way you're talking, but that's just not quite the reality of the situation. That is a dream scenario, and when we're talking about paying these guys, you got to stop dreaming about what if we can get them to take the max discount. Because I'm telling you right now, these guys ain't thinking about a max discount. They're thinking about how much can they get out of this, the most they can squeeze out of these negotiations to set themselves and their families up for life. Drake London is thinking about the fact that, okay, I'm coming off of my 4th year in the league, and I've gotten better each year, I feel like. Sure, I've dealt with injuries. I have dealt with injuries. I dealt with injuries this past season, but at the same time, by the time I got injured, we were already out of it essentially. We man, we
So, so you don't think that Drake is going to take anything over 120 million with 100 million guaranteed?
well, the guarantee is a different story, okay? And see, that's what you really got to pay attention to. The guarantee is a different story. Um I think it's possible Drake might take the 27 million you're talking about, but I also think, it's going to have to be a very good sell to him by the front office. That's another. Hey, this is going to be determine what is Ian Cunningham's strategy, which we did get a hint that Ian Cunningham said he wants to draft, he wants to develop, he wants to retain. Okay, we're going to see how he does that. And we're also going to see how desperate he is to retain, or how good of a negotiator he is. How good he is able to sell. If man, and it don't mean that if Drake ends up getting the 30 million, Ian Cunningham isn't a good negotiator. There could still be ways that they structure the deal. However, you got to keep into account that at the same time, you know, this ain't Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris who Drake London had that relationship with.
But
Drake London
why
is
would
looking at
why
what.
would why would Kevin Stefanski come in here and allow the GM to trade away his number one wide receiver? That
Well,
was the whole point of taking
okay.
this job. My offense is already damn near set. So why would I take away?
So okay. Once again, they're not going to trade him away. That's why I'm telling y'all, it's possible that he's going to get. It's very likely. I think he's going to get over the 30 million because you're not letting him go. That's one thing I think we can all agree on.
I mean, you valid, man, but I just I'm just looking at it from different angles with that, man, with how the Falcons, do and what motivates them to, change how they do business. And it took a long time for them to like give in to Julio. It was at the wrong time, but they still gave in to it.
Yeah, like even with the Julio situation, we got Julio Jones 3 years, 66 million guaranteed. And that was only because he wanted money like Odell Beckham and Antonio Brown. After getting the contract, he wanted a new contract, and that's how he got the 3 years, 66 million.
So that's what I'm saying. You got to kind of read the room, on some of this stuff too, and how they going to negotiate. Because I mean, his agent is not going to be able to come in here and talk about top tier performances from him, even though he's been our number one wide receiver. I mean, he hasn't, you know, from coming from college to the pros, he hasn't disappointed.
Nope.
But
That's what I'm
still, like,
saying. Like, be you put him in there. Like, I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals, they overpay in the market, but Jamar Chase is well worth 30 million. But I feel like this new wide receiver market is going to be between 25 and 30 million because everybody is not about to get 30 million. George Pickens is not about to get 30 million. Drake is not about to get 30 million. Who else?
Hold, hold,
Who else is out?
hold
Chris
on now.
Olave is not about to get
What
30
what
million.
you're saying? They're not about to get 30 million. Now that might be true if their teams lock them down. Okay, you might be right. Okay, we might be able to keep Drake at around 27 or 28, and I wouldn't be mad at that. But what I'm just saying is, okay, let's just imagine George Pickens hits free agency either this year or next year. Him and Jerry Jones, they aren't able to come to an agreement. Man, I'm telling you right now, when free agency begins, a bidding war starts. And bidding
Right.
wars, those can drive you up. Man, a bidding war on George Pickens will definitely drive north of 30 million. It might get close to 35 million.
Man, and that's going to be one of those situations. Okay, 1 year, 30 million, 1 year, 35 million. How many teams set up going into free agency right now has the capacity to pay a wide receiver 35 million?
I mean, there's some teams.
Look, just look at the Cincinnati Bengals situation once they decided to lock up Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. What about the rest of your team?
and that's what we got to keep an eye on, the needs of the Falcons. In those key positions like
Y'all,
this.
y'all, y'all,
Like,
y'all are absolutely right. But I'm telling y'all right now where the market
like
is.
this is one thing I can give Terry Funk no props on. The way it's set up right now for the next starting this season to 2028, you can focus on re-signing your core offensive players, whether it's a skilled player or an offensive lineman. Just look at the contracts. After 2028, that's when you got to start turning your focus to your core defensive players.
And that's why I wouldn't have been angry, and I knew, this is water under the bridge, but I wouldn't have been angry if Terry could have stayed another season. But you know how that went.
Kirk Cousins, and in a few weeks, Kirk Cousins is no longer going to be on this roster. We have a bunch of players on rookie contracts. Majority of our defense, outside of AJ, IQ, David Onyemata, are all on rookie contracts. Offensively, outside of Chris, Taylor McGarry, Nick Matthews, Darnell Mooney, and everybody else is on rookie contracts.
And sometimes, man, it's just a gamble. It's a gamble on both sides. It's
Yeah.
you have to gamble on your career, and then the franchise has to gamble on their investment, which goes without saying. It's a gamble
Hey,
because it's an investment. So,
look, y'all are all right. Y'all are talking great points. Now, if you want my personal opinion on it, I'd agree with Georgia Texas boy. That's my personal opinion. I would say about 27 million, especially after looking at this list of how much these other wide receivers are getting paid. 27, 28 million. That's around where I would put Drake London. 28 million. But I'm telling
Now,
y'all,
now, I can agree with you. Now, if the rumors are true that next in 2027 the salary cap is going up to 350, all right, give them 30. But that's only if they know through the grapevine that the salary cap is going to shoot up to 350 for 2027.
it's gonna be 350 eventually soon anyway. That's why I'm telling y'all 330 at this point will look like a good deal in a couple years.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at, do y'all know that if you actually extend Drake London right now, you could save a little bit of money in
Yeah,
2026. Do you know that,
yeah,
OG?
because right now with Drake's 5th year option, he's only under contract for 16 million guaranteed.
Yeah. Do you know that,
Well,
OG?
yeah.
You can actually save money extending Drake.
Well,
That was what I was saying earlier about giving him an extension and including his 5th year option.
that's why I was saying, by it being the Falcons and how we do things, of course, if it's going to save money in the long run, yeah, we'll load you up and save money on the back end. We'll do that.
Just like next year, you do the same thing with Bijan. You wait till he's on his 5th year option and you give him a deal. See, the only thing about Kyle, the only reason Kyle Pitts didn't get a deal on his 5th year option the way that Chris Lindstrom and everybody else has, because the his production has been wishy washy. If he has been a solid production, Kyle Pitts would have got a new contract during before training camp last year,
Yeah.
just like everybody else who get a new contract on their 5th year option. But his production on the field has been wishy washy. He's good in moments, and then some moments he's not good. For Drake, we can literally say if it wasn't for bad quarterback play, this man has produced
Oh,
every year.
hey, that's an hey,
Before he was injured this year, this man was on pace for the most 100 yards and a touchdown game.
hey, that's another thing we haven't even brought up. Drake's going to take a look at, well, and look at who y'all have had throwing me the ball. You started me off of Mariota, then Ritter, then Heineke, then back to Ritter, and Heineke again, and then you bring Kirk in, then you bring Mike in, then Mike gets injured, we're back to Kirk. I mean, what are we doing here? And now you're telling me that, it's not even a certainty Mike's going to be throwing me the ball to start this season? And I've still been putting up these numbers? I've been the most solid, consistent wide receiver you guys have seen since Julio? And I'm looking at where the market is going? Yeah, I mean, look, 31, that's why I say 30, 31 million is going to be where Drake London gets paid. Like that's just the thing of where everything is going.
I don't know. Like I just I'm just looking at it from
Because okay, think about if Drake London had a consistent quarterback this entire time. Think about it.
right. Think
Who
about it. We had a consistent head coach this entire
Drake
time.
London was on pace before before he went out with an injury. Drake London was on pace to this probably would have been his career year.
Facts. Like
Well, those
just
when you're
look at the
negotiating that's hypotheticals though. But go ahead.
I understand, but that's what he was on pace for. Like, look,
just look at what he was doing prior to injury. Prior to his injury and prior to Michael Penix's injury, Drake London was getting at least 100 yards every game.
yeah,
Like, and then I understand people. Oh, well, Drake London isn't fast. He doesn't stretch the field. Larry Fitzgerald wasn't fast either.
oh
Hines
no,
Ward wasn't fast either. Anquan Bolden wasn't fast either. Andre Johnson wasn't fast either. But they do the job.
they did the
Like,
job, man.
and that's my whole thing about Drake. Stefanski is not taking this job if Drake London and Bijan and the core is not locked up.
So
What's
are
the
they going to
point?
give? Are they going to give the 30 um because of that, because of the pressure that
I
or
don't think
maybe
he
they, or
need
maybe
30.
they
Like
made a deal with
that's
him.
just like saying, all right, then are we gonna reset the market with Bijan and give him 25 and we can give him 20? We ain't gotta over jump because think about all the teams who gave their guys these big contracts. The Cincinnati Bengals had to do that because at their trajectory, at their time, they 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 haven't been good since the Super Bowl. And they kept the same identity and didn't change anything. When it comes to uh Justin Jefferson, they thought they had something when they went and got Sam Darnold, but the GM fumbled the bag and let Sam Darnold walk. Our situation, we feel like we bring in Kevin Stefanski, your offensive minded head coach. We don't got to go through the same things that Matt Ryan went through of having to change the offense and actually have an offensive identity that can lead this team to get us over that plateau. For the last 5 years, it's been the same thing. We don't have the division in our hand for the last 5 years, even at 7-10 and 8-9. We done held the division to just let it go at the end. And it's like this past season, the offense let the defense down. The offense could not stay on the field for for the defense to even catch a break. If we had a competent offense, the way that we were saying we needed a defense to complement the offense, but last year the offense was not complementing this defense. That's why we lost the division.
Hey, make sure y'all shout out to the good. It's a good conversation going on right now. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and comment. The Venmo's up there. Share it out. Share it out to all the platforms and hit the link. Hit the link. Join the conversation. Let us know how much would you pay Drake London. Hit the link. I'm up here. We're having a good conversation. So hit that link. Share it out. Support all that good stuff.
Then it's just like this going to come down to Kyle Pitts. Now we could franchise Kyle Pitts. The franchise tag this year is like 14 to 16 million. Franchise Kyle Pitts, and if they feel like he's going to excel in this scheme, you extend him during the season. 3 year deal, between
Y'all y'all want to hear
45, between
y'all want to
40
hear
and
how much I
48.
think Kyle Pitts is going to end up getting, especially cuz now that he is facing free agency and the franchise tag is 16. Man, if you end up especially franchise tagging him, it almost guarantees you're going to be paying more for him if you end up extending him than the franchise tag is. Kyle Pitts is going to get a 3 or 4 year deal worth about $18 million a year.
Nah, because I don't even see Travis Kelsey, George Kittle, Mark Andrews. I don't even see them in those ranges. Uh, I think those guys are all in between 12 and 16 million.
The potential contracts is over with for Penn. I mean for Pitts, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is a strictly like that's why I could see the franchise tag being an option. Okay. To see if you can do it again.
The top
Yep.
paid wide receivers are George Kittle and Trey McBride at 19 million. Travis Kelsey's
And
making
is he on
17
the
million.
and is he on path with those guys?
I mean,
With those
hey,
three guys you said right there.
now the type of year he just had this year, you know, yes, those are the numbers those
But
type of guys
can you
put up.
put an
But
asterisk
hold
by that
on,
year
hold
because
on,
Drake got hurt?
hold on. Yeah, hold on now, though. Let me finish. What he had did between his first year and this past season, his fifth year here, it had been sure he has had a linear progression with touchdowns per season, but he has been overall very disappointing in terms of his impact in the red zone. There's been plenty of points that he has given up. So that's where I'm definitely more reluctant with Pitts than I am with Drake. Whereas I say I'd pay Drake the 30 million, I'd love to get him for the discount, but I'd be willing to pay Drake the 30, 31 million with Pitts. I'm taking a look at it more so. Yeah, I would probably say that 14, 15 million I feel like would be a good deal. And that's better if they want to keep Kyle Pitts. That better be where they negotiate with him around like a 3 year deal, 42 million, 45 million. So like, yeah, I'm on board with you guys there.
And I'm
So,
saying that because if they're going to go after Njoku, you're only going him because he's a scheme fit, but he's also 3 to 4 years older than Kyle Pitts.
would he generate a bigger contract if he came here?
Well, right now Njoku is being paid. Being paid 13 million right now. I mean, it's possible, especially he hits free agency, he might want to generate a little pay raise and get up to 15. And at that point, man, just keep Pitts.
Thank you.
Like shit, you know.
But I understand the front office if they feel like, all right, that production from Pitts is because of the absence of Drake, that we got those, and we knowing that in this new scheme it's tight end friendly. Could we possibly get that same production out of Pitts? That's why I say franchise tag.
But
Do it again.
see, the franchise tag for a tight end though is sitting around 16.3 million. So that's why I say you franchise tag them, you run an even higher risk of maybe having to go into that 17, 18 million range with Pitts. Whereas if you can just kind of negotiate with him and give him, I agree, the 3 years, 45 million, that I think that's pretty fair overall said. And I think you maybe even front load Pitts' contract in a way to create a little bit of relief on the back end, so you have more flexibility with a guy like Drake London, and also you got to extend Matthew Bergeron, you got to extend Divine Diablo, you got to pay K&Ls. That's why, like, yeah, you might see, you're gonna see the Falcons end up, you know, cutting some guys and being able to free up cap space, but a lot of that cap space is going to go back into re-signing our own guys.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, you got to keep in mind now, you want to put together a competitive product. I know it's a business and how you're going to run things, but you also got to stay focused on, if we're satisfying these contracts for these guys, are we going to be able to, as a whole, put together a good product that we can put on the field and be competitive and try to start going into the playoffs.
I think that was the whole reason going after an experienced offensive minded head coach. Because if you're retaining Obrick, that means that the defense is set. We've seen what the defense can do under Obrick, but we still haven't had an offensive minded coach to unlock the potential in this offense. If they were just going to do a whole reset, rebuild, or something like that, I could have seen a hardball coming in. All right, go ahead and get rid of who you want to get rid of and bring in the pieces who you want to bring in, no matter what. But I felt like Matt Ryan was like, those guys are on their line with the vision because a lot of those coaches, they probably was like, yeah, we can get rid of Penix and probably trade this player away to jump back in the first round. A coach like Kevin Stefanski, he knows what it is to not have a first round pick and still build a viable team to go into the playoffs.
And that's what they're going to have to balance it out, man. And then if you're able, even if you do that, then can you say that the expectations for the 2026 season is going to be to really compete at least for the NFC South Championship?
I mean, look, at this point, yeah, that's got to be the expectation because, I mean, you look at, man, look, okay, I'm going to just talk to you like this. You got the, winner of this division, the Carolina Panthers. They won it at 8 wins, the same record the Falcons had. Man, Carolina, now I don't know what Carolina's cap situation is, but Carolina's
We got the
also,
best cap in the we have the best cap
okay.
space in the division.
So, I mean, once again, it's like I say, you're gonna have to think about all this. Carolina's playing a first place schedule. They're having to play on top of all the other teams we have to play. They're having to play Philadelphia. They're having to play the Bears. and they're having to play Denver. Those those
Hmm.
are those are going to be some tough games for them. We're going to learn a lot about the Panthers next year and how sustainable they really are. Okay, Tampa, I feel like while you can never really discount them and you can never fully count them out, I don't think I think Tampa's more so headed down than up. I think their little collapse they had at the end of last season, everyone's getting older over there, you know, and let's be completely real, if Zach Robinson goes down there and does the same bullshit he did up here, that ain't going to work out for them.
Come
In
on
New
now.
Orleans, man, I just don't know if man, we're going to see how Tyler Shuck actually is after all these teams have tape on him. Like that's what it is. I could see if maybe New Orleans gets a easy schedule they get out to a good start. But at the end of the day, the Falcons, still have a chance to win the NFC South. I'm not saying they will, but you have a chance. And that's
Right.
how you have to approach the season. If
And I feel like that's why they went after experience. And on the plus, we got to see firsthand what a Clint Kubiak offense is like when he was the OC for the Saints.
There's not much difference, man, in the Panthers um schedule versus ours. I think all of us being 8 and 9, we got pretty similar um
yeah, but it's the
schedules
place.
because everybody we pretty much was
It's the
tied
it's
for
the
first
it's the
place.
placing in the division
Yeah,
though.
the placement. So like for us, we're going to face all third place teams. So we're going to face the 49ers.
Hmm.
We're going to face the
Hey man, I'm
Playoff
excited
team.
for that San Francisco matchup.
Yeah, that 12-5 San Francisco matchup.
Hey, but nah, I'm excited. Hey, bring on the smoke though. Hey, that might be the one that we all got to get down to though. Georgia, Texas boy.
Yeah, that'll be a good
You
one.
you.
If we can pull it
so
off.
we play the Kansas City Chiefs
That's another good
as a
one.
third place team, and we play the Washington Commanders. Those are
Again.
our three
Hey,
third
where
place
where
teams.
where we playing Washington at home or up there?
We're playing
Away.
Washington in Washington, and
Okay.
we're playing Kansas City and the 49ers at the Bench.
Those are two
Yes,
matchups I'm
sir.
looking forward to. So, hey, that San Francisco game I think should be the game we all try to come to. Okay? You hearing me, Georgia? Georgia Texas boy. I know you're a long ways away, but we need you at a game this season.
We're gonna have to make some shape for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we check it all
As
out.
long as we plan it ahead of time, and I can just put it in my schedule. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, sir. Um, yeah, we got Baltimore coming to town, Detroit coming to
That
town,
was very
Chicago
good. Oh,
coming to town.
hey, those are going to be some good games. But hey, we
Man,
going
you
to have
got
to
some
put up with
monsters coming.
the visitors coming to town though.
That's okay.
But like that goes back to my show earlier. The identity of Kevin Stefanski. Everybody is meant to expect us to be a pass heavy, flashy, unorthodox team. We're going to come out here and run down your neck with a heavy play action. Like, like if you thought Michael Penix was good last year, just think about what he is about to have with an experienced coaching staff.
Yeah, because he was playing. He excelled under those bad, throughout all the bad calls and late calls and just confusion added into it.
Like,
So
hey, I got a show tomorrow. Like, because I am out tomorrow. I got a show tomorrow. I'm about to break down how the hires that we hired, Tommy Reese, Alex Van Pelt, Taryn Engstrom, Bill Callahan, how they all was brought here to maximize Michael Penix Jr. Yes, sir.
what
That
time is
so
that coming on?
Might do it around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
you talk about our time or your time?
Y'all time. I
Okay.
always say y'all time. I
Yeah,
Eastern.
always say y'all time.
East Coast time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah, but
the original.
yeah, exact. So, but hey, like this is exactly what I'm talking about though. And make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe and comment and share out and join the link is pinned. Join the panel and join the conversation. Sub to Georgia Texas Boy, and I got three dirty up here. OG three dirty, the professor up here on the live. So man,
Hey, look, come on in, guys. Look, I don't have a platform. I just hit the link, man, and talk about them Falcons, man. So it's no certain etiquette. Just come on up in and talk Falcon football.
yeah, it ain't like we asking you to go, pull your teeth out or anything. Just come up here and talk about the Falcons. Stand on business.
Oh yeah.
So
But yeah, man, we got a lot going on, but I think this crowd we brought in, man, I think they're gonna do some good things, man. I rarely say that, but I just like how the vibe, how they're coming in, they're being professional, they're talking business, they're complimenting each other, you know, not patting each other on the back, but they're complimenting the vision. So the vision is there. The identity is coming.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
A- and I just feel like out of all the people he interviewed, when Matt Ryan really sat down, he did not want to put this franchise in the hands of the first time head coach. Because
Mm-mm.
we interviewed a lot of coaches who would have been first time head coaches. We interviewed a lot of coaches who would have been second time head coaches. But for us to go all the way back to Stefanski, that had to mean something because we interviewed like 13, like 12 or 13 coaches.
And Matt Ryan, man, I knew he probably threw some of his own, um, questions in there that he dealt with, and some things that he dealt with when he was playing ball, and probably some of those answers he probably in his brain was like, nah, I probably would have cussed him out on the sideline if he had to pull it out. But
Exactly. And that was like
yeah,
we were saying earlier. Bringing in Matt Ryan is having a player first perspective.
Yeah.
You were in charge of everything that's on the field. Instead of
and
having somebody like Rich McKay, you're only worried about the business.
yeah, well, he's a brilliant he's a brilliant businessman now, but at some point you have to go back to the foundation of what football is. Football is a gladiator sport, and nowadays the way they got it set up, man, you also got to be like a pool shark, man, like a pool hustler.
And man,
You got to
man,
be able to
also,
run the
if you
table.
if you notice, let me ask you a question, OG.
All right.
Have you made your season ticket deposit yet?
Yes, sir.
Hey, they've been very big on that though. Very big on selling that type of stuff. What's one of the biggest things we hear about with the bins? $2 hot dogs. $2 hot dogs. But see, that's all the Falcons have really actually been concerned with the past several years. $2 hot dogs. Buy your season tickets. Get all these, we're going to include all these specialties and all these deals and stuff. Buy your season tickets. Come eat $2 hot dogs. We got to
Yep,
be more
because the
than that.
product on the field was on the back burner.
We
It
got
was all
to,
And
but,
about
and
the experience in the bin
but
instead
right
of
now, it finally feels like you got a guy in there in Matt Ryan who is solely concerned with the product on the field, which you have not had. Rich McKay wasn't concerned with the product on the field.
hey, man, let me give you an exclusive confession on um this show about me, about Three Dirty and being a season ticket holder.
Go
Um,
ahead.
of course, I was disappointed about the Super Bowl outcome, and we was coming to the being stadium at the next season or whatever, and I was able to experience the last game in the dome. But you all were talking about the $2 hot dogs and all of that, right?
Yeah.
I've been privately. I've never purchased any food at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You know
Mm.
why?
Why?
I was doing my own protest, a silent protest. I don't give a flip about that $2 hot dog, the $20 meal, all of that. I want a product on the field, man,
Mm.
that's gonna that's gonna give me a return on my investment of all the years coming to the Georgia Dome, and now we're in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I want a winner, man, and I'm not gonna fall for the $2 hot dog trick, man. That's just me. I've never said it, but that was in my mind, and I was like, I never told anybody, but I'm saying it first up here. I've been protesting, man, in my own way. You
Hey,
know,
everyone
Fuck them two
has
dollar hot
has
dogs.
their way of protest. Y'all know what my way of protest was.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm glad you caught that. Right. And I'm like, man, I ain't buying no hot dogs. I don't want no sodas. I don't want nothing that you're putting out there to kind of get these people in here. I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm gonna continue to buy my tickets. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna enjoy the game. But you're not gonna gaslight me like you doing me a favor by selling me a pork hot dog at that, because I don't eat pork for $2. You know what I mean? Man, put me a product on the field,
so so
and I
so
might buy a hot dog.
okay. I was getting ready to ask that. So if the Falcons start winning, maybe you'll buy a little $2 hot dog.
And yeah, and by it being pork, I'm gonna give it to somebody else. So you know what I
What
mean?
about
But I'm serious, man. I don't. I mean, you know what? And it's like, that's like a losing my appetite type thing, man. I want a winner, man. I want to be a winner, man. I want to feel good about this team. I want us to just, put a good product on the field, man.
But hey, man,
Especially at home, man.
now let me ask y'all a question, okay? Did y'all see the I think I talked to it about you. Y'all see the video of what they served Kevin Stefanski at the press conference?
Yeah, man.
I was like,
They
man,
put it on, boy.
y'all better, man, every damn thing y'all serve better be on the menu next season because I'm trying all of it.
Yeah, they had some nice stuff up there, man. But yeah, with me, it's an exclusive, man. You better tag this. Yeah, man. 330 ain't buying no $2 hot dog. You
Hey,
ain't gonna
hey,
bribe me.
gonna put
You ain't gonna
it.
give me no candy to make me feel good because we sucking it up.
Hey
You know what
man,
I'm saying?
eh, anything to
Yeah.
fill those seats. But
Man,
that's why.
it's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
hey,
And then
hey.
go back.
It's like, hey, hey, little Timmy. I know we ain't doing
There you go.
good, but here's your little hot dog on the cheap. You know they'll charge you
Right.
7 at other places. I'll only charge you 2. Here you go, little Timmy. Now enjoy us continuing to suck up the place. Hope you enjoy
And I
that
think,
fart smell.
and I think
And for
that's why
real,
Blank
man.
got fed up. Like Blank bought in sportology. Hey, look this up from top to bottom, and then he looking at the game, and it's like I got more people enjoying the experience of the game. I mean, the experience of the beings instead of watching the game.
and
Matter
that
matter of fact, man, I got a survey. And no, I don't know why they sent me the survey, but a lot of people that I know that sit around me, they didn't get the survey. But that was one of the things that I put in. They was like, "Are you satisfied with the prices of the food?" I was like, "Man, I don't care nothing about." I put in the block. I don't care anything about the food, man. I need a winning product on the field. And I told
Now,
them, matter of fact, I've never purchased any food in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
now,
And
to
those in the
play
chat
devil's
now,
advocate,
hey,
to play
and
devil's
those in the chat,
advocate.
don't say I didn't purchase it because I couldn't afford it. That's not the case.
So
hey,
now look,
I know how they is.
to
He
play
spent all
devil's
his money on the
advocate.
tickets and he couldn't even eat.
Could this been a setup by Rich McKay to just keep the experience and the Benz valuable without putting a winning team on the field?
But see, what he didn't realize was that you got some people that travel to from out of state to these games, and by the time you, in my case, by the time you drive um 7 hours, you ain't. You need to give me one of them Stavansky meals if you trying to bribe
Yeah.
me.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
you better roll the damn red carpet out with some tomato bisque, and you better, man, you better serve me up some burgers with the logo on the bun.
Burn on the bun.
Burn on
Yeah,
the bun, yeah.
yeah. Somebody go there and get a hot. I said, man, I'm going straight to my seat. Tell them about no hot dog. And the lines be
Hey,
long.
I'll
Oh
tell you, I'll tell
man.
you what he does. Okay, he walks in the stadium, he comes and meet ups with me, then he takes his ass to his seat and he watches the game.
That's what I do, man.
And then after
I ain't
that,
playing them games.
and then after that, he gets his ass up and he gets on that MARTA.
Hey, y'all
Yep,
gonna be on
so
for a
right.
while?
Say what now?
Y'all gonna be on for a while?
I'll see.
Hey, it's his show,
Yeah,
man.
hey, I'll see.
All right. I'm gonna jump out and come back in if y'all still on later.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hey, Dirty Bird, fly through. Hey, bro, you got an exclusive. I got a new angle.
Hey,
I don't buy the food. I ain't bought
wait,
it yet. Have not bought. I'm talking nothing. I bought nothing.
hey,
You can't bribe me like that.
it
Go ahead.
would, but hold on, let me ask you this. Whenever we get that playoff game in the bins, will you buy a $2 hot dog then?
Man, I'm gonna buy that $20 tray. I'm gonna buy the $20 tray, man. Dude. But until then, that's how I'm gonna protest, man. I ain't buying none of that food, man.
Hey, so what you saying though is some of us on here, we have more vocal ways of protesting, letting everyone know, and some of us have more silent ways of protesting.
But see, yeah. See, you're a young cat, man. You got that energy, so you know what I mean. You're gonna be able to do all that, man. When you get to my age and you done been around a little bit. You just, you get your licks in and just sit back and then when it's time for me, you to speak about it. That's when you let them know. Yeah, I was getting you the whole time, buddy. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, you just didn't know. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
but once again, hey, so what you saying though is you couldn't handle being in the paper?
Oh, I could have handled it, man, but I got to kind of keep a low profile for security reasons right now. If you know what I'm saying. So
We talk about
certain
that
situations,
other, yeah.
certain situations might come up, and then they might want to, they might want to identify. So I make my moves when it's time to make moves, but right now I'm gonna stay consistent, man. And when we do better, I'm gonna do better. But until then, I'm gonna protest all of the food vendors inside the bins. Now, I normally get something at a tailgate or something. A lot of the tailgaters out there, you just pay a little money, man, and you can eat all you want.
Oh yeah.
So if I do that, that's fine. But yeah, going up in there and you going like you just said, man, they Mr. Blank playing us like we little Timmy, you know.
Man, you want to know what the most beautiful smell in the world is?
Victory
Well, that. But you want to know what the most
and
beautiful
the
smell?
smell of victory.
Hey, but okay. Besides that, you want to know what the most beautiful smell in the world is? What is it to you? Besides victory.
Well, me,
Yeah.
just I like no smell. I like a clean air with no smell.
Okay.
That mean everything is going good for me,
Well,
so to speak.
I'm gonna tell you what the best smell is. Besides victory, of course.
Uh-huh.
Man, hey, it's driving down Metropolitan on a Sunday or a Monday night or a Thursday night. Then you roll the window down a little bit. You hear some trap music playing, and you smelling the grill going. You smelling some barbecue. You catch my drift?
I got you. Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
That's what I could use right now, though. Now it's starting to hit me. That's what I could use.
Yeah, but see, and the reason why I say I like the, I've been eating, I've been smelling a lot of bitter air too now. You know, with the Falcons. So I just, sometimes it's just best not to no odor whatsoever. But I think it's coming though. I think it's coming. You just have to buy your time and be patient and hope that the people that are in charge are making the decisions that need to be made.
Oh yeah.
And then, just hope, even if you're not successful, man, just hope that they learn from it and do better the next time. Because it's always next season, one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, but also you can only say that so much before you get frustrated. Now, you know.
But they've been saying it for 60 plus years.
Hey,
So
what?
we're pretty patient.
But one. Hey, one. Think about it. 60 years, three stadiums, man. Let me ask you something. This is where you could share your knowledge. What was a game day experience like at Fulton County Stadium?
Man, that was when I was a younger kid. I only went there a few times, but um by me being younger, um it was totally different, man. Everything was, big. Everything was big. Everything was the fans were great. Even though, they were saying, I've heard reports of having, difficulty getting people into the, to go to the games or whatever, but you know, it was a great time back then. When even though the excitement was still of having a franchise, their football franchise there. So I think that the winning part of it, to a certain extent, wasn't as important as it has been in the last 20 years. I'll
What
say.
What was your very first Falcons game ever you went to?
Whew. I'm gonna have to look back on that one. I've been quite a few. I'm gonna have to look back on that. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that one.
Mm.
It's been a long time, a lot of years, man, because it was just a random game.
But was it what were we talking about? The 70s, the 80s?
The '70s.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look at. I've got a little hat that I got from there. I gotta go and look at. Hopefully, it's got the exact game it was. But yeah, I was a little kid, man.
Because I
Um,
mean, hey, like for because a lot of people watching this probably don't even know Fulton County Stadium. You do. So that's why I ask you about those types of days.
but like I said, man, it wasn't more. It was something new, um, new experience altogether. And like I said, the emphasis on winning, it wasn't nowhere near like it is now. You had a lot of things going on. Coming out of the '60s, man, you had a lot of things that was, you know, you were trying to get normal.
Yeah.
As far as just human beings, dwelling together. And I was a young guy. I was a young guy, so like I said, man, it was just good to be able to get out and experience those type of environments that I wasn't really used to before that. A couple of years before that. So, like I said, man, it was a lot of things going on then versus how it is now.
Hey, but I mean, like, and now a lot more of us, including myself, because I went to a few games in the Georgia Dome, or I went to. I'm trying to think. I went to one regular season game in the Georgia Dome. It was like 15 years ago, and then I went to, like, I think maybe a preseason game in the Georgia Dome as well. So like for what I can remember from the Georgia Dome is I was just like you talked about. You were in awe of Fulton County, man. The Georgia Dome was I was just in awe of it how big it was. But
Exactly.
compared to the bins now, I mean it really don't even look big. But man, I was just in awe of it. But I mean, the Georgia Dome saw without a doubt the most successful period of this franchise. So explain the game day environment, the game day experience of the Falcons playing in the Georgia Dome, especially during the excitement of 98 or the excitement during the Michael Vick era and then obviously with Matt Ryan.
Well, man, the man, that was it's hard to explain, man, because there was just so much going on with the Falcons, man. Um, Media wise, because I wasn't in Georgia at that time, but the media wise, man, it was just crazy, man. It was no telling who you might meet, because you saw a lot of the players and just people that was associated with the Falcons at the time. You might have seen them anywhere in the city, and then you come there, man, and people are just coming up with different ways of um, tailgating, and it was taking that to another level in from my perspective in Atlanta, and we messed around, man, and got hooked to Michael Vick. Everything blew up then, man.
Mm.
It was like you was in a dream world. I'm serious. It was like you was in a dream world, man. And people coming to town, man, from everywhere just to see Michael Vick. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When Michael Vick was in Atlanta, and this was a bad thing because we kind of got used to it from the what I saw. People didn't really even care that much about winning. They just wanted to see that one play that Michael Vick did in the game. That one play that you ain't going to the bathroom, man. You might go halftime, or you might, and the defense on the field, you might go to the bathroom. But Vic was on the field, you're not going. You're not going. You're gonna hold your water because you didn't want to miss that play. But then when everything went down, and then everything that went down in the few years after that, that we kind of, the quarterback carousel was on, and all of the other things that were going
You're
on.
talking about 2007. Did you go to any games during 2007?
Yeah.
What was it like going to
Hmm.
games during that season?
Well, me personally, it was kind of a still of a um. Did I really didn't know where we were headed. Um, and just trying. I was hoping that we would be able to just get, grab something to hold on to. It was just you really didn't know, man. And like I said, I never was a guy that really put a whole lot of expectations on stuff. Unrealistic. I kind of just flow with it. And then when we was able to go get, um, we drafted Matt Ryan, man. I saw this shift from the previous mindset and culture, whatever you want to call it, of the not only the team, the fans, the media kind of went away. And I think that Matt Ryan came in and single handedly propelled the Falcons in a new direction
Mm.
with that first bomb to
Hey,
what's my man name?
Michael
I
Jenkins.
can't think of his
Michael
name. Michael
Jenkins.
Jenkins, yeah. But I was right there, and I was like, oh, and when that happened, a lot of people don't talk about it, but that was a key move. That was a key play, and Mike Smith was a genius for kind of making that happen.
Hey, what
You know,
our boy Georgia Texas boy? He's been talking about new era, new era. That is a way that you bring in a new era. That is a way that you, man, because think about it. After everything that happened with Vic, you almost needed to sort it that way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it was kind of a, you know, we. I was in a fog, man. I was in a fog. I didn't know, how we was gonna recover from that. What we was gonna do. And like I said, I was able to come up for air when Matt Ryan threw that first pass for a touchdown with the first, and I was like, oh, okay. But
I wanna,
hey, man,
yeah, I see Augusta Gator up in the chat. What's going on, man? Hey, the link is pinned at the top if you want to come in, man. Shout out to Augusta Gator, uh, longtime Falcons fan out in Augusta. He says the Georgia Dome was a better atmosphere than the new stadium. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Because, hey, once again, number one, you actually had a home field advantage in the Georgia Dome. That was a place that you wanted, that you had a reputation of winning in. You weren't going to come into the Georgia Dome, whether it was Michael Vick or especially whether it was Matt Ryan, man. Because I saw something that Matt Ryan, through like his first 5 or 6 years, something like that, he won like 28, 29 games in the Georgia Dome and only lost 5 or 6 of them. I mean,
And
that
I'm
is,
here to tell you, bro, you didn't come to the Georgia Dome and got an easy victory against them Falcons, man. When Ryan was there,
no,
no way, it wasn't
man.
gonna happen, man.
I hate to admit it, the only team that really came into the Georgia Dome and had success in Atlanta, a decent amount of the time was the Saints. Like, and I hate to admit that. Everyone else, man, you weren't coming in here and winning. Carolina almost never won in the Georgia Dome, especially when Matt Ryan was the quarterback. Same thing with Tampa. Tampa had trouble in the Georgia Dome with Matt Ryan at quarterback. Like, the only team that really was able to come into the Georgia Dome and had some success in there, I hate to say it, was Drew Brees and the
Oh yeah,
Saints.
but see, going back to that 2007 season, man, after Vic left, I think everybody we had an NFL concussion when all of us was concussed. With that going on, them getting suspended and then eventually going to prison or whatever. And a lot of people, man, they probably can't even name the quarterbacks that we had, man.
Oh no,
And if they do, you'll see the pain in their when they call the names out. You hear the pain in their voice.
man. Hey, why do you think people despise Joey Harrington so much? Byron Leftwich. Shit, you had Chris Redmond selling insurance.
Man, yeah. Hey, look though, but see, even with Byron Leftwich, right? I don't know what he was doing when he got here. I don't know what was going on with this guy. I was like, this can't be the guy that I used to like as a quarterback. It stunk it up, boy.
Man,
Really, really
hey,
bad.
but I'm gonna tell you what though. Everything it sounds like, man. Petrino was intending on coaching Michael Vick, and when Michael Vick went to prison, Petrino was already checked out.
Of course, because he know he was fixing to make history with that guy. He knew,
Oh yeah,
and like I said, it was just so much hype, man. It was just so much hype going on. The city was crazy. Being honest about it, we wanted the people wanted championships, but they wasn't really, they wasn't pressuring the ownership about the playoffs and all of that. Everybody was just happy, man, in the moment. It was a big party.
because hey, let's be honest. We made the playoffs twice under Vick. We went to the NFC Championship once, and We got busted in the mouth against Philadelphia there, and man, this is what people though really need to realize. The Falcons with Michael Vick overall were pretty much in the middle as a team. Like it was 500 ball. There was one season that he got injured. He was out most of the year, but most of it was the fact. I mean, it was 500 ball, especially in the prime of Vic's career here.
Right.
I mean, it was a lot of. I mean, there were seasons where the Falcons would start like 8-5, and they'd lose their final 3 or 4 games of the season and miss the playoffs.
But see, like I said, man, it wasn't a priority as a whole. Cause even back then, man, even looking at it on television was a different experience. Shout out to Mr. Ted Turner. He changed the game on all of the Atlanta sports through his television network.
Oh yeah,
So yep.
yeah.
And then we had stuff like we had stuff going on like we had iconic stuff that was going on back in the 70s, like you know certain players that were highlighted, and then of course the defense. Then you had your coaches, the Glavins and all them guys like that were came in and had their own spin on stuff, which made Atlanta at least worthy of the publicity at the time. But as far as winning and just really setting a winning culture, we have yet to do that, man.
I mean,
We've had decent seasons and all of that, but we haven't set it. We've never had a
like I'm
winning
I'm
culture.
gonna be honest. The most we've had a winning culture was with Mike Smith and Matt Ryan.
Right.
Like that's the most we had of it. Like that was, and see, man, I think even during that time, people were so caught up on other things, because I remember a little bit of that time that I don't even think people realized back then just how good it was. Like we were winning games. The big story was, well, they ain't doing shit in the playoffs, but we were at least getting there, and eventually it was going to pop. And I get almost don't do shit for you, man. In 2012, we were the best team in the league. We had it.
But see,
We had it right there in 2012. And see, we don't talk about 2012 because obviously 2016 happened and the Super Bowl happened. But man, we had it all in front of us in 2012.
right. You're right. But see, the number one thing about Matt Ryan, and I think this part of him, he was ahead of his time, especially in Atlanta. He was the guy. He was the typical guy that you would see that had the close haircut and the well groomed, had on a modest suit, tie,
Hey,
Oxford,
listen,
and he went to
one thing
go ahead.
about Matt Ryan, he did not fit into the culture. Like, let's be completely real. Man, Matt Ryan's not the type of guy that you imagine, fitting into, that downtown Atlanta culture and what we're talking about with our teams. Matt Ryan represented. I mean, I'm just and it's not a shot at Matt Ryan at all. I'm a white man
No,
myself, but I'm just saying it. Matt Ryan, it more so represented what's north of the city, what's north of 285, Alpharetta, and all that, Roswell. It wasn't meant
that's
for downtown. That's why I think a lot of people they were uncomfortable with it.
that's what I'm saying. And he was that guy. But here's the thing, though. He didn't switch up. He came in. He was the typical business guy. Coming in. You would never think that by the way that he appeared or he dressed himself that he was a franchise quarterback until you saw him on that green strip. And he was a different guy.
Different guy.
And that's what I liked about Matt Ryan. When he came in, he gave us something. Excuse me. He presented something to the Falcons, but we didn't really embrace it like we should have
Because we didn't
when he was
understand
playing.
it. We didn't understand it.
Right. But see now where he is now, he's in the position of where that persona that he brought on the field, it didn't make it to the front office for some reason because I guess they were still used to the heydays. But now he's going to be able to take that mentality, and it's going to be an infectious um, virus in that front office
Oh yeah.
because he gonna show them guys like, hey man, all you got to do is come in here and understand the game. At the end of the day, you got to be tough, you got to be resilient, you got to be smart, and you got to be available. Be it staying out of jail, staying healthy, um,
Because
staying on top of your
one
game,
thing
being
Matt
able to
one thing Matt Ryan
go ahead.
always was, despite getting sacked 50, 60 times a year, Matt Ryan was available.
That's what I'm saying, and you can't argue with that.
He missed
You cannot argue with it.
3 games his entire career he missed.
Exactly. So he's going to bring that long needed culture change for this franchise. If they allow, with certain people out of that office, he'll be able to do it. But if that other person would have still been there, then it would have been a
It would
tough
have been complicated.
transition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this is the best chance the Falcons have actually had to have a culture change. Like, if we don't get a culture change now, I don't think we're ever going to get one.
and then let me tell you something else too. I went. I had took some time. Well, I ain't gonna say I took some time off, but because I went into the Marine Corps in 1981, I kind of was still watching the Falcons, keeping up with them, but I was doing the military thing, deployments and all of that kind of stuff. So I
By the
kind of,
way, salute for your service.
oh yeah. And I remember when I was in Beirut, um, when I was in the Beirut conflict over there, the Falcon, some of the Falcon cheerleaders, they came to Beirut. Them and what's it, Gloria Gaynor. She's a disco singer back in the day. Sung a song called "I Will Survive." But anyway, they came to Beirut, and I got some autograph. I'm gonna have to find them. I'm gonna take them to Atlanta with me one time, and they signed the little photo, the little headshots that they had of themselves. And look, I might try to take this picture with me down there and find out who she is and try to see if she's still around. But but yeah, man, stuff like that, man. It's time for like Georgia Texas say, man. It's a new era. It's
New
time.
era, yeah.
And I think that not Michael that Matt Ryan is in a position now to do what he couldn't do on the field
Oh, and
for,
that's a
for the
number
entire franchise.
that see that's the number one thing people don't. And I'm even thinking about it now. Matt Ryan, it is truly unfinished business because Matt Ryan, despite playing the game of his life in that Super Bowl, he did not. I mean, he played that game as sharp as you can play it. You know, outside of obviously the fumble, but even then, I mean, Freeman's supposed to make the block on that. And, still, man, you can only hold up for so long. You know, the Super Bowl, despite the fact that, yes, the quarterback is, the most blamed person on the team for a win or a loss, man, that wasn't Matt Ryan's fault. It wasn't. It was a fault of Kyle Shanahan, because what not a lot of people, and I've explained this, Shanahan, since his plays in so late, that the quarterback barely even has time to audible out of it. Dan Quinn, as the head coach, should have, told Kyle Shanahan, we're running this ball. So that was a failure on him. Or maybe he should have just taken it over himself and said no. He should have called Matt into it and just said, listen, we're running this ball. That's what it should have been. So, but the thing is, people love to blame Matt Ryan for the Super Bowl, but the fact that play calling and the defense fell apart, that's not Matt Ryan at the end of the day. That's not his role. Was to distribute the football when called upon or hand it off. Matt Ryan played the game of his life in that Super Bowl. Was probably going to end up being the MVP, even though Grady Jarrett probably, in all honesty, deserved it. You could have given it to Julio. Matt Ryan would have gotten the MVP for that game. And it would have cemented his legacy as a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. The thing is, Matt Ryan, he is blamed for that so much. And Matt Ryan, it's something that it's got to eat at you. But Matt Ryan truly has a chance at redemption. And it is essentially, I like to think of it as, fuck all of this. We're done with the losing. We're done putting up with the bullshit. We're done being a doormat. We're done with all of it. If we're going to go down, we're going down swinging. And we're going to build a winner over here. And the expectation was set. It was set to Kevin Stefanski and set to Ian Cunningham, set to all the players. If Matt Ryan's had a conversation with James Pierce Jr., which I'm sure he has, among all the things they talked about, one of the things that were talked about is, we need you here because you can be a part of us actually trying to really change things around. You could be our dominant pass rusher we haven't had in over a decade.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna stand on that. I think he's gonna stand on that. Um, and I think it's gonna, if he stays grounded, I think it's gonna work out good. We're gonna be as good as we can. I'm gonna put it like that.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be as good as we can. But yeah, man, it's and just like right now, that's why I'm kind of looking at it like it's when we start talking about this money thing and these contracts and what the other guys are getting and all of that. I hear that, man, but we've got to these guys are going to take hits, man, based off of this new era we going into. I'm sorry, that's what it would be with me. It's like, man, it's just like investing in a new start business, kind of like we need for you to invest in this new business, and you're gonna get your money on the back end.
Yeah.
When we start making money, you definitely gonna make some money.
But
And I will say this about Mr. Blank. Mr. Blank is that kind of guy. With Drake. If Drake let's say Drake say he take 27. Mr. Blank knows that he got a deal on that type of receiver, right?
yeah.
Even though I said 20, I said 25. I'm not off much, but that would be on the back end. Hey, man, we got you. Don't even worry about it. We're not gonna say you're gonna be a Falcon for life, but we got you. We appreciate
Yeah,
what you
hey,
did. We got you.
that is a term I never want to hear be used again, because who did we say that about? Hey, who did we say that about?
Julio.
We said that about Matt too.
Oh well, no, I never said that. That was just one of those things that
I thought I could have
when
sworn
you got when you got
sworn
to
they
put a
said it.
title on it.
Man, I could have sworn they said it about Matt, Julio, and Grady, and all three of those guys ended up playing somewhere else. Now, for me, Matt is a Falcon for life. I'm not. I don't even think about that year he had in Indianapolis.
No, what I'm saying is, as far as me, some of that stuff I don't pay attention to, right? But see, Matt had already my relationship as a fan, you know, with Matt Ryan is from being a fan. I never thought about Matt Ryan not staying here, for his career. And I thought that instead of him going to the Colts, I thought that Matt Ryan would just retire.
Yeah, but
You know what
I
I'm saying?
think,
That's what I thought he would do.
hey, once again though, I think though at that point Matt still thought he could play, and it was pretty
But
clear
the gunslingers, that's what they do.
it was pretty clear to him when he got there in Indy that he couldn't play. Maybe not even because he didn't have the physical ability, but because man, his heart just wasn't the same. It wasn't in the same place as it was with the Falcons. But he was coming to the end of his career regardless. I'll agree with you there, and he probably does honestly wish that at that point he had just stepped away from the game.
Right. So, when he, because of how I do things with how I look at things, I didn't have an emotion either way, by him going to the Colts, other than, saying, man, I just wish he would just retire instead of going to the Colts. And then once they said he was going, I just let him, hey, good luck, buddy. And
Yeah.
then, we started, and then I had to focus back on the Falcons. And you know how that went.
Hey, because that paved the way for, probably one of the. Man, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? That situation. And I don't even think Mariota, for everything we were expecting him to be, played that bad on the field. I think he about gave us what we expected. Man, how he quit on the team, though, that's what bothered me. And then we know what came after that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sure that still gives you nightmares.
But look, so do you think that, because I know a lot of people are saying that Ritter, uh, and shout out to Uncle Steve, I love Desmond. Um, if he had a got the right development, training or whatever you want to call it, that he would have been at least a decent backup. What do you think about that?
I think that's absolutely valid and true. I think because, I mean, let's be honest. Let's call a spade for a spade. And you can say it's stat padding all you want. I mean, Desmond Ritter made some very boneheaded decisions, but Desmond Ritter also showed that if you eliminate the boneheaded decisions, there was some stuff that, I mean, you could have worked with. That's why, like, even at the time, I said, I just, I was kind of willing to take the good with the bad because while it was pretty clear to me, midway through that 23 season, he probably won't be a franchise quarterback, that I kind of got a little bit of a Ryan Tannehill-ish vibe from him almost.
But look, I'm gonna be honest with you. My assessment of Desmond Ritter, he just played. To me, he played. It was like he was 2 seconds, 1 or 2 seconds behind
Oh,
the
yeah.
the
Hey,
rest of the teams that were on the field.
yeah. And once again, Arthur Smith was not a developer of a quarterback. He just wasn't. He didn't have someone on his staff that could develop a quarterback. And
So,
Raheem was too damn stubborn to properly develop Michael Penix. Say you can also say Arthur Smith was stubborn too with Ritter, but I mean, see that's the thing. Our last two head coaches have been very stubborn in their own ways with the development of their young quarterbacks that were gifted. Now, what really made Raheem look worse in the long run, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna just be completely honest, man, you shouldn't have been. Looking back on it, even though I do think that at the point the Falcons put themselves in, yeah, that was probably the best way to go is see what the third round quarterback, what it could get you. Because, I mean, yeah, Russell Wilson was a third round pick. You know, it made Arthur Smith look really bad. And still, that might have, Arthur Smith might have said, I could do something with him. He wasn't able to, and that's why Arthur Smith got gone. You know, with Raheem, it was just, you have a top 10 pick at quarterback. You have a quarterback being paid $40 million. You've mismanaged the whole damn situation.
Right.
But see what it boils down to with both of them, they couldn't manage the quarterback situation properly.
Yeah, man. It was just like we just started stumbling, man. It just started. We couldn't stop stumbling, and hopefully, you know, we got the guys in place to where they know when. Well, I'm just using this as an example. They know when to call the timeouts. You know, up there, even with Matt Ryan and them, to be, whoa, man, let's not good. Let's not get too far gone with these decisions that we're making. Let's not. Let's keep it. Let's keep everything in front of us.
Because see, I almost guarantee you, Matt Ryan will be that type of guy. Because there's still a lot of, uncertain boundaries of this job Matt Ryan has. But if Matt Ryan has to be the type of guy that has to go in there on a Monday and break it down, how it needs. See, that's the thing. Arthur Blank and Rich McKay couldn't break it down to Raheem Morris. Terry Fontenot couldn't even break it down to Raheem Morris, of the end game because they ain't never had experience with it. Matt Ryan will have no problem breaking down to Kevin Stefanski how it should go in game, but hopefully that's not even going to be a concern because Kevin Stefanski has experience with it.
Right. What do you feel? Talking about Stefanski, do you think that his record as a head coach is an indication of what to be expected here in Atlanta?
What aspect of the record are you talking about? Are you
Just
talking about
just
just
the wins and losses, not the personnel, not the and I'm doing this for a reason. Not the personnel,
on
not the team, just his record. Period.
on one
Wins
hand?
and losses.
Because I'm gonna overall okay, but then I gotta break that down by season. Do I think
Okay.
it's an indication? I think partly yes, it absolutely has to be an indication, but then I also look at it and I go, no, it really can't be an indication because man, the Browns are such a man. We talk about how bad of a situation we are. Cleveland is just awful. I mean, an awful situation. And when you
Okay.
look at it, how basically shadowed Stefanski was from these things that were going on, whereas now it already appears like he has a bigger say. That part of it, I think he has to get a new start on. But where I say I'm still not comfortable saying the Falcons are going to win any. Right now, if you ask me, the Falcons' ceiling is 10 wins. That's just what it is. I think our ceiling is 10 wins next year. Maybe it'll be higher. I don't listen. Maybe in June or July I'll be, doing the crazy talk I did last year. But right now if you ask me, the ceiling if everything goes right is 10 wins. Because I feel like with Stefanski, you know, there's still some things that I haven't seen him take it to the next level yet. I never saw him take it to the next level in Cleveland. The closest I saw it was when he was playing in the divisional round against Kansas City. He had that Cleveland team there during the COVID year. Outside of that, I really can't say Stefanski is in that upper echelon yet. He might be able to get his way there. You know, there was the same questions about Mike Vrabel. But my thing with Stefanski is just, I don't think he is a, coach of a 4-win team on average. But do I think Stefanski, does he strike me as a coach of a team that wins 13 games year after year? I don't know. I can't say that. That's why I still say, I still think the Falcons are going to be around 500. I just think the Falcons want to be on the right side of 500 this year. They instead of 8, they want to win 9. And I think 9 wins this division.
9. Mm.
Yeah, I think 9 wins will win the division. 10 will almost certainly win it.
Okay, now let's just saying you win 9 and win the division. What is that going to give? What kind of confidence is that going to give you going into the playoffs? And the reason why I'm asking that is because um if we want the 9 wins, I mean not want, if we're accepting the 9 wins and going into the playoffs, and I know it's kind of luck after that. You gotta have a sprinkle of luck in on that.
Man, hey, look, if we get into the playoffs, that's really the only damn thing that's going to matter. You got into the playoffs after nearly a decade of missing it. And I've kind of been stuck
And
up
a home
a home
playoff at that,
hey,
right?
you said it earlier. If we win the division and have a home playoff game, you will buy the $20 tray.
I'm about a $20 trade, buddy.
Hey, and hey, we might have to split it. We might go half and half, and that'll be
I
our
give you half, but I'm gonna buy the whole thing because actually, I owe Mr. Blank on that because I look at
hey,
all the years I have not bought nothing.
hey, man. Look, that will be our way of saying we're finally here.
But finally, here I'm buying a $20 um family package in a playoff game.
Hey, we finally here. You know what I'm saying?
Yup,
But
yup.
so, but and I'm for real though. I'm being for real. You have to really look at it as man. You know, with this organization, we got players in place that we feel like could make this team one of the most premier teams in the league. And it's possible if Michael Penix is able to explode, then we could be talking about a team that is able to eventually win 12, 13 games. But man, if they can win 9 and win the division and get in the playoffs, all that being considered, you win 9 and get into the playoffs. Not win 9 games, but you're out. You win 9, you win the South, you get in the playoffs. Man, you can't be nitpicking over that. We're not in a position to nitpick right now. That's what, and see, I kind of even have been nitpicking for the longest time. Man, we can't nitpick at this point. We gotta be, if we're gonna get something, it's almost like with a Make a Wish. You just gotta be happy with what you get.
Yeah, as you can be happy with it, just don't be satisfied. Don't be
Yeah, hey,
complacent. You
you
know
can
what I'm
never be
saying?
satisfied in the league. There's only one team that should feel satisfied in this league right now, and it's the Seattle Seahawks. But I guarantee you, even they aren't satisfied with one. It makes it feel easier, it makes it feel very good, but it's like a dopamine. They want to get back there. Every team wants
Yeah,
to get there. All 32 teams want to get there. At least most of the 32 teams I feel like want to get there.
you're exactly right. They want to repeat. Then you want to three-peat.
Hey,
And then you want to start looking at that dynasty.
it's a dopamine.
Exactly. That's the start, though. Like you said, it's the start.
Yeah,
You win. You win that division, get that home playoff game, and look, and then your content changes in the off season, right?
because once again, look at what Carolina's going through right now. They got that home playoff game. They got it at 8 wins under 500, but they got that home playoff game.
Right. That's right. And that was good for Carolina. That was great for Carolina. Man, these cats up here was excited. They were excited, but the
Man,
whole vibe was different.
but now see it shifts for them. How can we get back there and grow? And it's going to be tough. So that's why, like, listen, being the hunter is obviously very, you can be anything being the hunter. You have so many different ways, but when you're the hunted and you have to play defense, it's going to really show people what you are. And that's where you start to weed out the good from the great.
Okay. But again, we got to start here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, hey,
We got to start here, man.
it's a very big year for, a lot of people, here. But the guy under the most pressure this year without a doubt is Michael Penix.
Yeah, that seat hot, buddy.
Yeah, hey, cuz like look, if this could determine potentially for Michael Penix whether he's going to be a $55 million quarterback or whether he's just destined to be a backup for his entire career this season.
Exactly. A lot of things are on the table right now. Many things.
And while I think we, can see promise from Michael Penix, I don't think we've seen enough to declare him anything. I want to believe in Penix. I want to, I'm still, going to be on his side defending him. But you can't crown him anything yet. Is the thing.
No, either you can't do it either way.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Until he has gotten there and proven, you can't crown him. Like that's just the thing. But see, at the same time, going back to talking about the past, man, what Matt Ryan did for this organization, his first year taking us to the playoffs, it almost gave us including myself, it really gave a lot of people a false interpretation of what the first few years of a QB's career is supposed to look like. Man, y'all need to go and take a
Exactly.
look at Sam Darnold's journey. Sam Darnold 4 years ago was almost out of the league. Now he's the quarterback that won the Super Bowl. But
He,
he was on his way out of the league 4 years ago.
he stuck with it, man. Look, man, that's a different kind of guy, man. Those guys come. They're rare.
Yeah,
This guy believed in himself. His circle believed in him. His support group, man, was great, and he stuck with it. He knew what his talent was. He knew,
yeah,
and obviously, nobody could tell him anything different.
mm-mm.
You know, and that's why sometimes I get a little ill at the content that comes out about these Falcons, man. I get it. You know, we get to the point where we get frustrated. You know, by just repeating this vicious cycle that we have. But at the same time, man, sometimes you got to keep family business in the house. And with this content world, the social media, all of these different ways that people getting information and putting information out, and it's all generated toward getting the biggest crowd. I think sometimes all of the morals of being a fan are pushed to the back burner. So it's just it's a vicious circle, man. But back to my man, he knew what he had. Now he's stuck with it, and he right now, man. He's the poster child of adversity, dealing with adversity, and just sticking to the plan. Cause I'm pretty sure, man, it was a lot of times, man. You know, just for a split second, man, he wanted to give up.
Yeah.
You know, but then he probably said, "Nah, I'm better than that. I'm better than that." I'm a good quarterback. I just need to get to the right situation.
And he got there. He got
Yep.
to the right situation. He got the right coaches around him. He 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 really learned a lot from Shanahan, and then he was able to go to Minnesota for a year and show the league what he's actually capable of. And then he went to Seattle, and he was able to lead them to the promised land.
And got a GM fired.
Shit. Yeah.
Yep, got a GM fired. Said, man, are you kidding me?
Because he let him go because he still didn't believe in him. And sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes, even when you do show people, they won't believe it. And
What did they get for that?
they just gonna have to learn a hard lesson and see you at the top to finally believe it.
Now I'm wondering what did he get out of that deal? When when Minnesota let um that quarterback go, let their quarterback go.
Who you talking about? What who get out of the
Who
deal?
did who did Minnesota what did Minnesota get out of um with that trade to Seattle?
They didn't even trade him. They didn't get shit out of him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's why he got fired then. Yep. Just let the guy go.
Yeah, just hey, threw him, discarded him essentially because he had two bad games at the end of the season.
Wow. And you know what? He did it based off of what he saw, like you said, the last two games, But that guy he made a decision, man. And sometimes they say, one guy's trash is another man's treasure. And obviously, Seattle saw something in him. Maybe they saw him as a bridge quarterback until they could recover from the Geno Smith. You know,
But but
maybe
then they realized he's something much more than just a bridge. He wasn't just a bridge to the next guy. He was the bridge to the Lombardi Trophy.
right? Cause so that bridge word is not just a temporary thing. As we use it as for the most part, it could also mean he's the connection. The bridge is a connection from one side of something to the other side, so that you can cross over. So he was actually, yeah, he was a bridge, all right. He was a bridge from the playoffs to that one spot.
That everyone wants to be at.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I like stories like that, man. When things look like it, out front,
But I mean,
things
hey,
look kind of shaky.
there once again, you know who has a story that could be similar to that.
Oh man, that dude would have a documentary if he won the Super Bowl with everything that he has went through so far. At
Yeah.
this point,
Hey, look, man, you're talking about three torn ACLs. You're talking about, I mean, just being essentially, man, I mean, let's be honest. There was a lot of talk essentially of is he the guy when he got
oh
injured?
yeah,
And I mean, we still don't know for certainty, but we're going to see what Michael Penix is made of.
yeah, this kid, man, I think he has what it takes. I just hope that all of these setbacks hasn't damaged him mentally.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
just hope it has.
look, I'll say this, and of course we won't know until we see him play. But Michael Penix strikes me as a guy who is in good mental health. I'm not stricken by him as he has issues with his mental health, unlike someone else who we know use that as a front to just go and play some parlay tickets down in Florida.
Right. But see, here's the thing. You mentioned earlier about Drake, about wanting to secure the money, for his family, for generational wealth, and you got to understand, you got to understand that all of them are doing it, trying to compete to be on these teams, to to be employed in a profession that they've been in, since maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, and hopefully, what I'm saying is hopefully that he's not just good enough right now to get by, to to get some return on his investment to the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, just trying to just say I'm gonna ride it till they tell me I can't do it no more. Or maybe with that the other surgery that um he had some corrective surgery that would reinforce all of his limbs that were injured.
Possibly.
With the new, like just like all these young kids out here, all you young bucks out here, y'all don't remember Steve Austin, not the wrestler, but Steve Austin, who was the $6 million man.
Hey,
Where he was an astronaut, man. He crashed, and they said we can make him better than he was before, bigger, stronger, faster.
so what you saying
All
is
the old heads remember that.
Michael Penix could be the Steve Austin of football?
He could be the Steve Austin of football.
Mm.
You heard it here first. The well, now it'd be the $60 million man. This
Oh
was
yeah.
back in the '70s, so $6 million back then actually probably was about 100 million now. So yeah, they could put them stem cells in him and all of some new stuff, some titanium um support and all other kind of stuff, man, that they're doing now. Cause I don't even think they really cutting these guys anymore like they used to.
Nah, man. If we, I mean,
I think they
shit,
drilling holes. I think they drilling holes and inserting stuff in
man.
there.
Hey, they're rebuilding these guys. They ain't just repaired. They rebuilding them. So, like I say,
Right.
I'm interested to see how Patrick Mahomes is going to come back from his injury.
But they did say that what the kid with Green Bay, Michael Parsons, said
Yeah,
he's still rolling around in a boot. But he could have been doing that just to kind of throw everybody off or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, Michael Penix, man, he might be the $60 million man coming back. I might look, get me a number 9. If he playing that good, I'm gonna get me a number 9 jersey and put Steve Austin on the back.
Hey, you did say you got a Michael Penix jersey though.
Yeah, I did. That's the only jersey that I have that's not a throwback.
Are you gonna get a new jersey when they come out?
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I don't, I don't, I don't get into them like that,
I'm
man.
trying to figure out which one I'm gonna get first. I'm because hey, I was gonna get Pierce, but his little situation. I'ma still need to see him and Rakia deal with that outside of court and him serve his little suspension before I get his jersey because I just need a little bit more clarity. So I could go with a Bijan jersey. I got a Bijan jersey already, but obviously a new one. A Drake jersey, or I got a Michael Penix throwback jersey, so I could go with that. I got some options. I got some options.
Well, just side note, that
I
Michael Penix jersey was up for the low low. I saw it. I guess because of what was going on at the time, it was marked down. I mean, it's authentic, but it
well,
was marked down.
when'd you
So I
get
said, I
it? When'd you
might
get
as
it?
well go and get it.
When'd you get
I
it?
got it a little. sports store up this way. They sell a lot of player, NFL paraphernalia,
When'd you
and they
get?
had it
Yeah,
in
but
there.
when'd you get it though? What?
Um, I got it in 2024,
Oh, okay,
near the end of 2024.
okay.
Yeah, because I had went to Ghana um that last week in 2024, so I had bought it right before I went to Africa because I remember when we played Washington, I we was up 5 o'clock in the morning watching that game. By the way, and I had the jersey on
So so
because
so
of the time difference.
so you was repping the Falcons in Africa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm.
All the way. It don't matter where I'm at, man. I gotta let them know.
Hey,
And trust me, they're
worldwide,
known too.
worldwide.
They're
Hey,
known in those countries too.
hey. Oh
Uh
yeah,
huh.
we know why they known in those countries. Shit.
Yep.
Hey, you think there's any chance you gonna make it out to the international game wherever it's at?
It's on my list, man. I gotta check it out, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. With everything that's going on politically, man, I gotta see what's going on,
Well,
man.
I'm
'Cause I
gonna
ain't
be.
trying to.
I'm gonna be
I
honest
ain't
with you
trying to go
too.
through no hassles.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you too. That's why I say I don't got any interest in leaving the United States. Like that. That's my thing. I
Yeah.
don't got any interest leaving. I mean, this just my opinion. I'm good where I am.
Well, yeah, I had a couple of offers to go to travel to other countries, and I thought about it. I said, "Nah, let me just stay home. Let me see what's happening, you know, before I get out there." And my luck, I'll be the one that just be in that crowd that they want to mess with. So I think right now, man, I'm just gonna continue to do what I'm doing, and I'm not saying that it's a bad situation, but I've just seen some things, go on that I'm not willing to get into.
Uh.
Yeah. So
Nah, cause it's crazy. It's crazy right now.
yeah, we'll be going back and forth to Atlanta. That's where I'm.
Hey,
I
when,
know what's going on with that so far. So
when's the next time you making the 7 hour drive?
mm, I probably about a week or so, man. I got to go down there and check on moms
All right, so
and
so you
make
think
sure
you'll be
she's
down
okay.
here next weekend or so?
Yeah, about a week or two, I'll be down
Okay,
there.
all right. Just check some things out, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we done kind of got way off the topic, haven't we?
Hey, we already voiced our opinion, man, on Drake. Like that's the thing though. But it all can come back to Drake. What everything we talked about with business and shit. Like
Oh yeah,
that's just how it is. Like this Drake thing, it's just another, moving part of the business.
yep. But I think that at some point, man, with this football thing, with all athletics, professional athletics, I think that the emphasis of the business side is kind of taken over the basics of what it's all about, man. Just the camaraderie that it's supposed to bring, the competitiveness that's supposed to um, come out of it. What football and all of the athletics sports is supposed to really represent, and it just went into a money thing because a lot of times I hear, when there's conversation, the first thing that come up is about it talking about business, talking about money and business, and a lot of people is talking about it in that aspect, but they really don't understand the total picture of it. I don't, but I think I'm in it a lot deeper than a lot of people are, economically because of what I have to do to be the fan that I am.
Well, man, also you're a small business owner, right? Technically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
So I look at things, and I look at things from that angle too. What would I do? Because I'm thinking about, I have to make decisions when situations come up.
see that's the
Um,
thing. Like I'm getting ready to go back to college this fall, and I'm going to go get a business degree. And I've learned some things, from people I know, and then obviously, my own research. Man, I'm going to tell y'all something about the business world. In the business world, and I've iterated this to you before. Man, in the business world, morals don't exist.
oh, they can, but you know what that'll do for you, right?
Oh yeah. Hey, listen. If you try to go around in the business world using morals and stuff, man, you going to struggle to even keep the lights on. Very that is a very good way to land yourself quickly into bankruptcy.
Yep, you are exactly right. Big business owners, they were not successful being
Playing it nice.
the the good guy.
Hey, once again, why do you think? Let's just keep it a buck. If we're gonna keep it, on topic a little. Why
Right?
why do you think Arthur Blank was pushed out of Home Depot?
Hey, for being the good guy. That's like that little being the guy that'll sell a $2 hot dog.
Yeah,
And the guy at Home Depot said, "Man, you done lost your mind, man. We ain't giving these people nothing like that, man. You know, you can take that somewhere else."
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I mean, look, that's just the stuff I'm talking about, though. Like, you're not being the nice guy in the business world will have you on the outs very quickly. And that's why, like, I think Arthur Blank gets it, that he has to put these guys in charge essentially. Because, man, Matt Ryan, hey, we've seen Matt Ryan do it on the field. He's not afraid to tell someone to get fucking sacked. He's not afraid to, actually tell it like it is.
And you know what? Even and everybody heard Matt Ryan, um, say it one way or the other. Be it on the media, social media, television, or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Did Matt Ryan apologize for that?
Hell no.
That's my man.
Hell
A lot
no.
of people, man, he ought to apologize for that. That guy never said he never said he shouldn't have said it, and he never apologized for saying it.
Man, man, you should not be apologizing for saying that. Hey, in this game, that's what the fuck you need. Because, see, football is a game, and so is hopscotch. But there's a clear difference between those two types of games.
Oh yeah, but in each game, each anything with competition, man, has its dark side.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, checkers has its dark side. As well as professional football, it has a dark side, and it's a part of the game. And it's just there's good and there's bad, and they all play a part. So, hey man, that was one of the things I always looked at when I heard him say that. I was like, oh man, they're gonna eat him up. Nah,
Mm-mm.
he never, and I respect him for that. Not apologizing for having to clamp down on somebody for them to do their job. I'm not gonna do that. You know, I don't care if it is Julio. Man, quit playing. Shit, let's go.
Hey, Sanu was the one he was telling to get fucking set. I mean, shit.
Oh, I thought it was Julio. Oh, so it was Sanu?
I think
Oh,
so.
okay. Oh, I thought it was Julio, but
But
whoever
hey,
he said,
he would have said it to Julio too.
exactly. But like I said, it wasn't. They talked about it, but there wasn't no big deal made out of it. And I actually thought it was Julio, but that's cool. Whoever it was,
He had to say it.
yeah.
He didn't have no damn problem. He didn't care how much of a superstar you were, how much of a fan following you had. If he had to put you in, and that is what I need from Michael Penix though. Michael Penix can't be quiet. Michael Penix can't, just be another guy in the huddle. He has to lead this shit. He has to be willing to step out of his comfort zone. And if he has to go off on a motherfucker, he goes off on a motherfucker.
About a whole nother aspect of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's important, and that's something else. With all of the hype and all of the expectations and all of the schemes and all of that, it's this same guy and I'm saying the seat hot on him. Is this same guy going to be able to focus on his craft and develop under this new regime, and then at the same time, um, I'm not going to say regain, but to establish his position as a leader with this franchise?
That's the question we gotta ask.
Is he going to be able to do that? If not, if he's not going to be the leader, because you know for a fact, last season I didn't think he was that guy to be a leader. And
No,
remember what I told you. The only person that I thought could rally those troops was Kirk Cousins. And at the time, he was on the bench before Michael Penix got hurt, got injured. I said that. The only guy that I saw that really stood out that could rally these guys to some wins would be Kirk Cousins. And looked like he did. Yep. Looked
but
like he came in and took care of
but
business.
see now you ain't gonna have Kirk Cousins here in all likelihood. So
Bingo.
now you see, and maybe that was another thing. Maybe Michael Penix felt like because there was still another guy in there that was clearly respected and they had actually played with and been led by, that maybe he wasn't the leader. Now, hey, you're the leader here.
I hope he didn't feel that way. I'm gonna tell you why. Cause in anything that has um turnover, I'm gonna use the word turnover. Um, there's always a guy waiting in the wings to take your spot. Always. It doesn't matter. And I hope that that didn't. I hope that that didn't. Have that effect on him because Kirk Cousins was there and he was well respected or whatever the case may be. I hope that he come in and say, "Hey, man, Kirk Cousins in the way. I gotta wait my turn, and when my turn comes, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and I'm gonna do it the right way."
Yeah.
But I mean, he was respected. Kirk Cousins was respected, and he knew how to rally these guys together. He knew that's why he. I guess that's why he went to Seals. Even Pitts stepped his game up
Because, hey,
once he saw that.
man,
Once he saw what Kirk was doing.
we were asking ourselves why the hell is David Sills even out there when Michael Penix was playing, but then with Kirk, like it was, he's actually doing some stuff.
Right. And yeah, I had some guys on the practice squad that I thought they should have been given an opportunity. But at the end of the day, you have to roll with what they put on the field, the product that they put on the field. And that's why I said earlier, I like what that guy brought with the situation. I like what Seals did. There's been some questions about him. He had a whole lot of snaps, but he only got a few catches or whatever, and he dropped the one bomb. But Overall, man, Kirk Cousins done showed the Falcons that they got something with this guy. Whether they keep him or not, that's on them. But I think what's hurting him is he's sort of a Drake London clone. I think they kind of got a similar game.
Who Sills?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
He
I think they
he
got a similar game.
and see the thing is, man, you can't. That only works if he's a backup. But
Exactly.
if he's out there starting, man, you see, you got to have a little bit of different everything when you have your starting wide receivers. You got to have the guy like Drake that you can rely on, to be that surefire guy. And ideally, at the end of the day, man, ideally, that is what your number one wide receiver is. You know, see, the thing that makes Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase so special is the fact they can take the top off the defense, but ideally, that is what you ask from your number one wide receiver. And that's why, like when I said, you look at what it's averaging with these wide receivers on the high end, you're talking about 30, 31 million. And if that's what Drake is going to ask for, you kind of got to give it to him. I would like to get him for 27 or 28, but you just got to look at it from where it's going. But you got to have a little bit of different everything with your wide receivers. You got to have that solid guy you can rely on. You got to have obviously that guy that can take the top off the defense, and then you got to have that complementary guy to both of them.
And that's what I want them. I want them to be able to do, man. Is you know put those pieces together. They might have to go over there to Cleveland and see if they can bring Jerry Judy over here.
Well, I
If
think
he understands that he's going to be the number two guy or possibly number three, and we're going to use you as a deep threat, which I think he'll like.
I think he would like that, but also at the same time, I don't think Jerry Judy. I think then if you're gonna pay Drake, even if you're paying Drake 27, 28, the most you're probably giving Jerry Judy is like 14 million.
You don't think he'll take that?
I don't know if they you want to keep him in Cleveland and be a number one, he'll get north of 20. Shit.
Well, I didn't think about that. Yeah, if he's going to stay in Cleveland and be a number one, no, he's not going to bite on that. No way. Okay. Well, you made your case. I hear you. We'll find. When you think we'll find out on what Drake's going to get?
It could be any time before the season. Like, look, it could happen a day before the season starts. Like,
Okay.
that's just the thing. I would ideally now think maybe it's possible we see it happen for them to save money. In these next couple weeks. Right before the free agency chaos starts, because I think that's what they did with Lindstrom. But if you were to ask me, it'll probably be something that happens in the summer, or it could happen in August, leading into before the season. Something they want to get done. Around the summertime.
Okay.
So y'all know how it is. If y'all are, whenever the news drops, what Drake is, how much he gets, we'll come live as soon as I'm available and we'll talk about it.
All righty.
So, but yeah, hey, checking in, listen, make sure y'all like and subscribe and comment and share out, support the channel. So,
Well, man, look, that's about it for me for today.
oh yeah, hey,
As far as that,
because
if you,
we've been talking a lot of Falcons football.
yes, sir. And I didn't know if you was gonna continue on your show, but I was
Yeah,
gonna
well, I'm thinking I'm gonna end it at this
get ready to
point.
get out of here.
Yeah, hey, you got a final word?
Okay. Hey, man, everybody, just keep your head up. Um, let's cheer. Let's be good fans. Be good content creators. Those that are content creators, and let's just um, be optimistic about what we got going on with these Falcons, and just get ready for the new season.
Yeah.
And next time the link drop, I'm wherever it drop at, I'm gonna be there.
And hey, y'all
In the
better,
words
hey,
of Big Will.
Three Dirty gonna be there. You better be there. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all it is. But hey, appreciate y'all for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.